Hey guys, welcome back to another team builder video for the second season of the PBO. We are the Witchita Weaviles, and today, or this week rather, we are taking on the Boston Bulbasaurs. And as you can see, we have the team pulled up here for y'all on the top right corner there. They're rocking Iron Hands, Grimmsnarl, Brute Bonnet, Colossal, Chansey, Flareon, Clodsire, Noivern, Muck, Delibird, and Dragonair. Let me adjust that real quick. Power of editing. So you guys can see the Terra. Speaking of Terra, the Clodsire is the Terra captain. So he chose ground for its stab typing, and the other typing he decided on steel. So steel and ground are the two typings that I can Terra into. So which is kind of interesting, you know. It's not like a Terra Dark Clodsire that you would see on like the ladder or something defensive. So anyway, we're taking on the Boston Bulbasaurs this week, and let's see what we came up with this week. Alrighty. So first things first, it's back. I know. We're bringing back Hatterene. I know. Shout out to Hatterene because week 1 the debut was crazy mode, and now hopefully it can put up these kind of numbers as well. So, Hatterene. Why is Hatterene here? Hatterene is here really specifically to beat Clodsire. Just like Torkoal in week 1, this thing just comes in and sits on it. It bounces back all the hazards, it bounces back Toxic, it bounces back Yawn. Any status thing this thing wants to play for it, it completely neutralizes it. Plus, I'm a Psychic type, so if it stays ground Psychic, I can just super effective hit it, do some damage, feels good. We're rocking Psychic, Life Dew, Protect, and Baton Pass, and we're pretty physically defensive with 240 HP and 240 plus the bold nature defense-wise. The extra 28 speed you see is my attempt at speed creeping all of his really slow mons, because as you can see, most of his team is very slow. So I want to say I believe it's base 50s, like Iron Hands and whatnot. This is my attempt at speed creeping their speed creep, which helps check Iron Hands. So Hatterene counters Clodsire and checks Iron Hands. It also like kind of throws a span into the works when it comes to things like Taunt Grimmsnarl, where like, oh, maybe we can outplay and get something going in that regard. We're rocking Baton Pass because slow Baton Passes are very good, just in general, very strong. Life Dew, with this EV spread, we do take less than 25% from Earthquake from Clodsire, and Gunk Shot if it's like uninvested and just normal stab. We take less than 25%, so Life Dew actually gains us HP in every situation in that regard. Obviously, by like a Gunk Shot poison. Psychic is obviously stab, trying to hit the poison type of Clodsire, and Iron Hands is and super effective on Iron Hands as well. The only Clodsire set we cannot beat is Curse. Curse Clodsire with like Curse, EQ, Recover. And then obviously it can be whatever it wants last move, right? Technically it could be Rocks. Probably should be Gunk Shot, because then it can beat an Amorous. You know what I mean? So Curse can be an issue, especially Curse Terra Steel is an issue for Hatterene. But we obviously have 5 of the Mons to try to help us navigate that. So Curse is the only thing that can really beat Hatterene 1v1. Which it doesn't even beat at 1v1, by the way, if I actually like put investment offensively into this and stuff, but doesn't matter. Defensively, it can't beat us if it's like Terra Steel, Curse, you know, come up on us and try to kill us, but we'll cross that bridge if we have to. Again, we have 5 of the Mons. Surely we'll be able to navigate it. But outside of Curse, Clodsire, standard support sets, standard hazard sets, stuff like this. All fucking wild. Very good for Hatcham. Very good. And I think it should do good work this week. So I'm quite happy to bring the head of him job once again. Hopefully he can put up the same kind of numbers. So after that, I was like looking at his threats on his team, right? I was like, okay, so we have Clodsire, which we have to deal with because Clodsire is the only thing that can, well, not the only thing, but it's just is a very reliable mon, right? It will always do something in a battle, especially if you bring the right set, which, you know, one would think you'd be able to with the time given to prep. So I thought about that, so this was my counter to that. And then I kind of looked at his battles, and he's been running actually like Sunny Day Flareon into Brute Bonnet. So Brute Bonnet would get his attack boost, and Brute Bonnet kind of 6-0s people. Like, it just does a lot of damage. So I needed an answer to Brute Bonnet, and that's where like Overquill came into effect. So no pudding's back once again, and lucky for me, I have like the only good poison dog type in the world. You know, like, I'm not actually gonna lose, because Brute Bonnet does get Stomping Tantrum. It does technically get a super effective move, but because we have Intimidate, we can navigate that. It would be perfectly fine. I think it does like 35% to us or something. Like, it's very navigatable. It's not unplayable, right? So no pudding is back this week. Back on that defensive grind for sure. But it's more of a... It's not like it. We do have some defensive investment with 168 HP and then 156 plus an impish nature. Again, that with Intimidate is designed so we can take on Brute Bonnet, specifically Stomping Tantrum sets, or rocking the Black Sludge to stick around the longest. I did think about playing around with something like safety goggles to try to avoid a Spore, because that's another thing Brute Bonnet does. Brute Bonnet has fucking Spore, Sucker Punch, Crunch, Stomping Tantrum, Seed Bomb. It can be Loaded Dice, Bullet Seed. Like, it just does a lot of stuff. So I've tried to fashion Overquill, Null Pudding here to like beat all of that. We are running 184 speed, so we hit 252, which means we're 1 point faster than Jolly Brute Bonnet, which is important. I mean, obviously it could just be adamant and to do most damage, but we always are trying to speak for the worst case scenario. And yeah, so our moves were rocking Poison Jab, Aqua Tail Spikes, and Sleep Talk. Poison Jab is obviously here to hit Brute Bonnet most reliably, you know, don't want to miss Gunk Shot. I don't think Barbarage is a fantastic thing to win this game, just because the 50% poison obviously has no effect on things like Clodsire. It has a minimal effect on Chansey because it has a natural cure. I would rather hit Brute Bonnet harder initially than just poison it. In my opinion, I just want to do as much damage to that thing as possible. Mucky obviously can't be poisoned either, so I don't even like Dragonite. I believe gets Shed Skin. You know, like, I just don't think it's that important. I would rather just hit him with a base 80 move instead of, I believe, base 60. I mean, we can check, right? Yeah, base 80, just straight up. Obviously, if I get the 30%, I get the 30%. But again, I would rather just have the upfront power than something like this. Aqua Tail is up next. Aqua Tail is literally coming only for Clodsire. It does like 44% min, and it has like a 19% chance to 2-hit KO. It has it does 2-hit KO after leftovers, ticks, and all that, with 1 spike up. So Aqua Tail's just here to pressure and keep Clodsire low, because we really don't want Clodsire to basically like to be able to just I don't want to say make predictions, but because of Clodsire's typing, Ground Stab is obviously not the best for us to switch into, but Clodsire has Poison Stab, so then my Flying type and Enamorous is harder to switch into, right? In addition to Toxic. So my Poison type could obviously be crippled by Earthquake, and then Toxic can cripple everything else on the team. Hence why we have Hatterene, where we can try to dodge all of that. So we just want to keep Clodsire low. Any turn we can keep Clodsire from clicking recover is a good turn, because as we go through our team, you'll see that we have a lot of things to just do, like about half HP to Clodsire, or try to kill Clods. Like we're trying to overwhelm Clodsire, which I believe we can do, right? So Aqua Tail obviously just helps in that regard. I could run Liquidation, you know, so I always hit and don't miss. The only difference on Liquidation is the 5 power doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does mean that we can't always 2 KO after Spike. And the 20, I think the 20% defense drop means we always kill whether there's a Spike or not, but it's a 20% chance versus Claude in general, or it's 2 10% turns consecutively to knock it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just take Aqua Tail, do the most damage possible. Next up, we got Spikes. Very simple. Hazards are good. Hazards are OP. His defogger is Noivern, and maybe Delibird. Did I get fucking defog? I don't remember. Oh, and he does have a spinner in Colossal. But Colossal cannot just switch in on us, again, because we have Aqua Tail. So we should be able to navigate that pretty effectively. And we have Sleep Talk, just in case he does burn Spore on Blue Bonnet. We don't really have any other move I really want. I think, like, it would probably be Taunt if I brought another move, just so we can cripple Chansey, prevent hazards all the time from Colossal, or also cripple a potential Grimmsnarl lead, because he can't taunt me because I'm Prankster, right? Because I'm a Duct Tape on the lead. But I would rather just been Sleep Talk, so I have a Spore switch in, so I don't have to like risk random 50-50s with Hatchrim and stuff. Like, I would just win this, Piss Chill, we're good to go. So this is my boot, so this is just my Boot Bonnet answer. It's my Hazard Setter to try to overwhelm his very bulky team. Like, Claude is bulky, Iron Hands is insanely bulky, Chansey is obviously bulky, you know what I mean? So just bulky mons we're trying to overwhelm with hazards and whatnot. So yeah, Blue Bonnet, check, confirmed. Feels good, man. So after looking at his team next, I'm like, hey, turns out I get 6-0 by Noivern. Specs Noivern has an incredible speed tier. It's his fastest mon on his team. And when all is said and done, he can actually run modest Specs Hurricane against me. That's really bad for us to switch into. Very hard for us to switch into. So, once again, we're bringing back our wonderful Ampharos, you know. Oh, I can't type. My bad, team. Once again, Black Cherry's back in this bitch. Feels good, man. Rocking Assault Vest just like last debut showing, you know? Like last time. We're rocking Volt Switch, Dazzling Gleam, Brick Break, and Stomping Tantrum. We're max HP, max Speed F, and we're running Sassy Nature. So, Noivern is unbelievably hard to switch into, but this does a pretty okay job at taking hits. So, Specs mod is Draco does like 36% max. 36, which is a lot, but that is Specs modest. If it is not Specs, we can take, you know, 4 or 5 Draco Meteors easy. Like, it's no concern, to be honest. That's fine. Obviously, Static is also really nice against Noivern, because if it is like Specs or Choice just in general, I can just go into this. Obviously, it's a 30% chance to hit a Static turn. If I paralyze Noivern, it's over for him, because he's most likely running modest. Get that speed down real good, and Amorous can punish it later. Baxcalibur will be able to punish it either way, but you know what I'm saying. So Static is really nice just to be able to punish that. Maybe even Super Fang, same idea. We can try to punish with Static. Full Switch is just here because initiative. He does only have one ground type in Claude, so we have to make sure we don't get totally wrecked by that, but we can navigate that. Dazzling Gleam helps us hit Noivern super effectively, in addition to Iron Hands, very good, and Blue Bonnet, and Grimmsnarl. And so that's really good, helps us deal with like Grim Lead, if he does bring it. Same with Brick Break, that's the following move here. We have Brick Break, same as the debut of Ampharos, it's coming for Brick Break support. if he does lead with Grim Snarl, we can obviously just Brick Break spam, cause some havoc in that regard. So far, so good. And next up, we have Stomping Tantrum. Now, Stomping Tantrum, Stomping Tantrum, Stomping Tantrum. Turns out, because most of the time, Clodsire is specially defensive, it takes quite a bit of damage from Stomping Tantrum. I believe it's like 43 min. Or maybe 45 min. 46? Something like that. It's pretty respectable. And guess what qualifies as a fail, as a failing move, if you're immune. So, I think there will be a situation where I think it's very possible, especially if we have like 1 or 2 spikes up. I go for Volt Switch, he goes into Clodsire, he takes, obviously he's immune, takes no damage, and then I can Stomping Tantrum and do like 80%, 90%, like we're doing a crazy amount of damage to him. And that's really strong. So there's actually a good chance we can kill Clodsire with Ampharos. The Sassy Nature, excuse me, I am slowly dying. The Sassy Nature has no effect on whether we outspeed Claude or not, because Claude has base 20 speed, which is quite absurd. Like, if you just... Why is Clodsire on the list? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so slow. So we always outspeed. So that's really good. We don't need speed on anything else. Just in general. For anything else, I should say. So, Stomping Tantrums here. Try to hit a 150 base power ground move against Clodsire. Again, trying to overwhelm Clodsire. Don't let it, like, if it is curse, it's going to have a hard time trying to curse on my team. You know what I mean? Okay. Finally, not finally, but once again, we're bringing back Lean the Quagsire. You know how it be. This is my Iron Hands check. This is actually the real answer to Curse Clodsire. If I can get this thing, if it's not Toxic Curse Quagsire, which is like Earthquake, Toxic, Recover, Curse. If it's not that, if it's like Gunk Shot or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Then my Quagsire, what the fuck? Sorry, I'm stuttering today. My Quagsire does beat it. We're rocking Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Encore, and Recover. So Earthquake is simple. Earthquake is Earthquake. It's for Iron Hands. It's for Clodsire. Easy, like no problem, right? Obviously hits Colossal as well. Can pressure one of his spinners. Very good. This also is a check / counter to Muck. I'm a little concerned about like maybe Poison Touch plus Poison Feign on Muck, so I get poisoned and then maybe he can whittle me down or something. Like that's the only thing I'm really scared about. But in general, if this would be able to beat Muck. We're putting Rocks, because Rocks is relatively important as well. Again, more hazards the better. Also, it helps me scale what kind of Noivern we're dealing with. If it's Boots Noivern, then Black Cherry really does wall it, and it's going to be really easy to navigate. If it's not Boots, that takes 25%, sounds good to me. You know, damage is damage, feels good. Obviously, Recover, because we're Quagsire. And finally, Encore. Encore was a last-minute addition for the boy here, because Encore helps me comfortably beat not Quagsire, what the fuck, Clodsire, Quagsire, all the sires. Too much for me. Helps me comfortably beat Curse Clodsire. So that's really cool. Again, if it's Toxic, we just have to make sure we don't mess it up. We don't mess up our turns, so we get Toxic and stuff. But like between our Toxic immunity on our Poison type, our Magic Bounce Mon and Hatchrim, I feel like it's going to be very hard for him to get a Toxic turn. And again, if he's Toxic, then in theory he's only going to have Earthquake. Which then we go back to the Hatterene build, and you'll see that like we have Protect plus Life Dew. If that's the case, then we're going to stall out his Earthquakes. Like that's our job. Our job is to PP stall him. We're going to be that guy. I don't care. We're trying to win. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? If it's double stabbed, then Quake can just take care of it. Obviously, again, it can be poisoned. Yes, yes, and yes. But it is what it is. We have Unaware to match his Unaware. Earthquake's doing 60%. You know what I'm saying? Flat all the time. So we always can pressure him. And then that feels really good. So this is very standard. This is our Iron Hands check. If he brings Banded Iron Hands, because that could be a thing. Banded Iron Hands with close combat, it's very hard to switch into. Blessed that it's not Terra Fight Iron Hands on his team, it's Terra Clodsire. But yes, it's very hard. excuse me, it is very hard to switch into banded close combat. So just keep that in mind. It's a rough one out here. But if it's like body press setup, we can beat it 1v1. That's another reason I think Encore is very strong, is because if he brings like body press, iron defense, some coverage move, and then like whirlwind or something, because then whirlwind will help him bypass my Quagsire. Or maybe even like, let's say it's rest talk, right? Like, let's say it's rest talk, iron defense, body press, right, or something. Encore will help me disrupt that and cause havoc to him, and that is obviously the goal. So it helps us check iron hands. If it's banded, it's how to switch into. But if it's banded, then we're gonna have to use Enamorous here, and we move on to Enamorous here. To check that. And what does that mean? That means if it's choice band CC, the quad resist comes in real clutch. It still does like 30%, but we can try to navigate that. So this week we are finally, again, I know most of the time we use special, whether it's Specs, whether it's Scarf, whether it's Ender Calm Mind, that almost 6-older guy. Usually we use special because we need special attackers. But this week, no sir, no siree Bob. This week, we're actually bringing the dream, the wet fantasy that people thought about when they actually saw them on. Be leaked / released. We're bringing Contrary, Physical, and Amorous. So we're rocking Superpower, Zen Headbutt, Play Rough, and our last move is Taunt. We're running Max Attack and Adamant Nature, because we do not need the speed, where we speed creep everything in the game, everything on his... oh, my Discord. Exposed. Exposed. DDoS me, please. Don't do that, actually. Sorry. I outspeed everything on his team except for Noivern, I believe. That 274 is a Delibird speed number. So it's faster than 273, obviously. Adamant, 252 attack with superpower. If you look at his team, he gets shamoned. He gets really cooked, which is awesome. This Enamorous is going to, once it gets going, it's going to be very hard to stop. Because what happens is, if there's damage on Claude, so we're talking, you know, 50-60% on Claude, which again we talked about between Spikes and Aqua Tail and Hatchrim and stuff, like that's not hard to do. Not at all. It's then Headbutt kills with Expert Belt. Adamant Expert Belt is very good for that. And after that, it is very hard. It is very hard to stop this thing once it gets rolling. Play Rough obviously is going to hit Iron Hands, Grimmsnarl, Brute Bonnet, Noivern, all for super effective damage. Superpower obviously is going to hit Colossal, Chansey. Just in general, it's going to stack super fast. It's very strong. It's a Headbutt specifically that hit Claude. And then Taunt is to help us navigate some things. So again, turns out Fairy Flying this week is very good defensively. Very good, very good, very good. It helps us check Iron Hands fighting moves. It straight up counters Brute Bonnet. Like, it's just useless. The only thing Brute Bonnet can do to me really is Spores. So Taunt helps us navigate that. Helps us navigate status from Chansey if he comes in. Helps us navigate status from Clodsire. Basically, I go into my Mon on this turn he switches in. If I get the taunt turn, then I can just start superpowering, no punish kind of vibe. If it's like defensive Flareon, because maybe he wants to bring defensive Flareon and try to navigate special Enamorous, it's gonna stop a wish support thing. So it helps us with aggressive support. Rather than having that's an option, rather than us only being able to just run through his team, like aggressively, offensively supporting the team. Does that make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Basically, I have two options. We have two options. We can come in, get a kill, or set up for a kill with superpower, or we can taunt for support to try to maybe set up back Excalibur, or maybe get a more hazard. You know what I mean? It's just a nice move in general. And yeah, so that's the set. the other thing to talk about, I guess, with Mr. Enamorous here is the 152 SPDF. It does actually matter, and it matters for Specs, Modest, Noiva, and Hurricane. Specs, Modest, Noiva, and Hurricane does 99% max to 152 SPDF on Mr. Enamorous here. So that means if I'm at full HP, I always live one Specs Hurricane, always. That's a big deal because that means that I can just kill it with super play rough. That just, like, do you know what I mean? If I'm at full HP, if I'm sweeping, I'm at full HP, I always live on one, then I can kill him. Like, that's really strong. Helps us. It's like a weird pseudo check situation, especially if he is Specs and I get like if I can make an aggressive switch maybe into my Fairy type on the Draco Media, superpower, boom, boom, boom. I'm at full HP. Maybe he comes back in because it's the only thing that's faster than me in the game, on his team, I should say maybe. And then right, we do live one. Uno. I don't know other languages for one, but yes, that's why we have 152 SPDF. Pretty excited to use this Enamorous set. I know, again, we've been rocking a lot of special, and it's been putting in good work. Not as much work as Baxcalibur that we'll get to, but it's been putting in good work. So hopefully, physical Enamorous can put in a similar amount of work or more work, you know, just because this is the thing that people saw, like this kind of set, and thinks this is why this is going to get banned because of Contrary's overpower. So I'm super excited to use this. Finally, let's talk about backs. Woo! Bro, I fucking love using Baxcalibur. I love using Baxcalibur so much. This mon is so insane. So last week, I know it was doing some crazy shit. It was basically speed plus a lot of SPDF. Basically, it was my take on AV Tank Baxcalibur. That's what it was. No longer. He's back to his aggressive, beaten ass ways. Okay, so let's see what he did. So this week, we're cooking. This, not really. It's not that cool. We're running standard 3 attacks, SD, ZZZ. Not really, though. Well, it kind of is. So let's talk about it. So obviously 252 attack, 168 speed. So we have speed. I believe is 55s is the speed. So that's his brute bonnets. That's his brute bonnets. That's his iron hands. We outspeed. We outspeed everything except for Delibird and Noivern. And then 88 speed investment, HP investment, my bad, 88 HP investment. Obviously trying to get that odd number, that 393, that odd number, so rocks, we can take 5 round rocks, not 4, if that's how the game shakes out. Yeah. Very standard stuff. We're running Glaive Rush, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and SD, Swords Dance. Obviously Thermal Exchange, because that shit is broken. Very good. So let's talk about backs and what he can do against this guy's team. As you can see, the guy has Clodsire, Chansey, what is that mon called? Oh my goodness, I'm looking at it and I just can't put it together. Sorry, Flareon, Colossal. Like, these are not a bad Stalker IMO. A lot of SPDF, invest in some physical defense. It's not bad. And if you guys have ever played against the ladder, on the ladder, you know what Baxcalibur does to stall. It completely one-shots the whole fucking lineup because it's insane. Unfortunately, I don't, as much as I love running Adamant Bandit, I don't think Bandit's great this game because, like let's say I get a kill with Glaive Rush, easy peasy. He goes into Grim Snarl, he gets his 2 double screens up. Baxcalibur now does like no damage, you know, like I have to jump through other hoops like breaking them away, getting another initiative turn, whether that's a volt switch or a double switch or something back into Baxcalibur. Like, there's a lot more things going on there, so I'd rather just not play Bandit. And it's an okay DD game, but I would rather just have SD. So with Dragon Fang, oh, by the way, we also are rocking Terra Fairy, not Terra Dragon. As much as Terra Dragon is super cool because it does guarantee one-shot Chansey and stuff, I think Terra Fairy defensively is quite immaculate this game. It helps me set up on Noivern. So for example, if Noivern is Specs or Scarf, if it's just choiced, obviously I can just go into this thing, I can just Terra on it, I can SD, it die, like I have Ice Shot after the Revenge Kill, it's really easy. It actually lets me set up on Iron Hands. If it's Banded Iron Hands, I can set up on it. If it's not, basically, if it's kind of a 50-50 turn for him. If he is not like Iron Defense Body Press, it's kind of a 50. It's not really a 50-50, but it's like a 60-40 in my favor kind of thing. Because if he CCs, I resist, boom, SD, we're in good conditions. If he Thunder Punches, okay, cool. I mean, the worst case scenario is he like Wild Charges or Thunder Punches or something, and I get paralyzed, and that's bad. But other than that, okay, I take maybe 40-50%. Bax is not here to take hits. It's here to just you know, get an SD up and sweep his team, or like Revenge Kill his whole team after. Fairy also lets me resist Brute Bonnet Sucker Punch, so it's I don't really have to play those 50-50 games with SD plus Sucker versus Sucker, I should say. It's just okay, I'll just Terra, because I do need +2 plus a little bit of chip to kill Brute Bonnet with Ice Shot, a little bit of chip. So if it takes a Spike's turn, it's good. I think it's like 5% I need, so it does need a little bit of work. I mean, obviously I do have a chance that I will kill it, but there's a chance I don't. So let's say I don't need to risk that roll. I can just go for Glaive Rush and kill it. It's very good. +2 Glaive Rush with Dragon Fang specifically, because we're not running Terra Dragon for the boost on Glaive Rush. The Dragon Fang is quite important. The Adamant Dragon Fang +2 Glaive Rush does one-shot, obviously, standard physically defensive Chansey, which we do need, because if I can't one-shot Chansey with this Mon +2, I get fucking T-waved. It's like game's really much harder to play, so we have to be able to kill Chansey. That's why we're not running enough speed to outspeed Delibird. I think with the ability just to be able to Terra into a Fairy type, so I don't take any weird like Destiny Bond shenanigans. What the fuck am I saying? Sorry, I am talking and like not actually making a sentence. Let me try that again. I think being slower than Delibird is okay, because Delibird, no matter what, is never going to kill me. It just won't, unless if I'm already chipped, right? Being slower than Delibird, the worst case scenario is that he comes in like Destiny Bond, some crazy shit, and that's fair. That can happen. But I will say, I believe at +2 Adamant, you know, +2, which is double my attack stat. So if we just look at my attack rate, it's 427. So we're talking like 858 attack, right? Boom, something like that. I believe Ice Shot kills Delibird, especially if it takes rocks, because it's a half HP, right? So that's really easy to navigate. Like, Delibird's not real. I don't need Delibird's speed tier doesn't matter. It's not a threat to me. I would rather just have the maximum damage possible, especially because we need Adamant plus Dragon Fang at +2 to kill the Chansey. Like, that is incredibly important, as you can imagine. Yeah, so that's the team this week. As you can see, this is the probably the only week, honestly, the only week, just because of how goat she is. This is the only week that Vaporeon Juvia is not coming this week. She got a break week. She's been putting crazy numbers up. She's been doing some good work for the team. So this week is a Vaporeon break week. Good for her. Because I believe next week I'm going to need her. And all through playoffs, she's really going to have to put up those LeBron James numbers. She's really going to have to carry the fucking team. Okay, she doesn't have to, but I expect her to, because she's been putting incredible work in this season. So yeah, let's see how we play without Wish Baton Pass, heal everyone back up kind of vibe. So, but yeah, no, this should be a really fun game to play. I'm pretty excited to play it. We're going to play it later today. It's gonna be really sad if I have to life do protect spam on Earthquake for Clodsire. Because if I do that, then my fucking overquote beats it. It just sits on it and heals to full HP. So yeah, and with that, guys, I just want to say thank you for all your support on the PBO. I know it's kind of out of the blue content, but it's super fun. And yeah, I hope you guys are liking the videos. Um, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be the week 7 battle for this battle, the Frederick Lefkes. So I mean, Frederick Lefke, that was last week. Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise, guys, I'm losing it. The Boston Bulbasaurs is this week, week 7. Boston Bulbasaurs this week. Boom. You know what I'm talking about. So, I'll see you guys next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys.